All right, good evening, folks. We have 4 cases tonight ranging from February 27th to March 1st from the Court of Appeals dealing in some aspect with the medical marijuana. They are all unpublished cases. This appellate update is sponsored to you by ComorranLaw.com. 800.
Alan works here.
Hang on a second. 800-656-3557 for all your cannabis-related needs, whether it be criminal accusations or business problems with the Medical Facilities Licensing Act. This is the one-stop shop for you to call. We thank them for sponsoring this broadcast. Okay, the first case tonight is dated February 27th, 2018. People, the state of Michigan versus Hannigan. It's a case out of Berrien Circuit Court. And this actually arises from a traffic stop in June 2014. A guy is going on the highway going to the Electric Music Festival. Is that probable cause to stop somebody? You know, he's in an RV, driving down there. And when he goes from I-94 to I-196, he crosses over at the last minute. You know, there's that double, white line there. And they call that a gore, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not. Well, anyway, so he was going on 94, and at the last second he decides, I'm going to go over this way to go to the festival. So he crosses over that, gets over that. Well, that catches the attention of a police officer, of course. So the police officer turns on his overhead lights, gets behind the guy, and he doesn't pull over for a mile and a half. And at that,
Thompson style.
Yeah, that's you got to hide everything, right? So
mile and a half. I think we start calling it a pursuit about a half mile.
This is a mile and a half. Well, the police officer went to the left side so that he could make sure that his lights were seen in the side view mirror of this RV. That didn't do it. And then finally he turned his siren on and the guy pulled over. So
that's like how it happened in the Thompson book.
Yeah. Anyway, so the police officer IDs the vehicle, and he talks to the driver there. He's also got a couple passengers in the car, and he hasn't decided if he's going to give them a warning ticket or not. But he pretty much verifies all the paperwork and talks to people in the car, and they're all going to the Electric Music Festival. And so,
how long are they there for?
They were there at the traffic stop for about 15 minutes. The officer says, "Can I search the van?" And the driver says, "No." He says, "Well, in that case, you're going to have to wait for a dog to come here and do a sniff." And, the guy didn't, he said he was in a hurry to leave, but the cop says, either you're going to let me search or you're going to wait for the dog. It's that simple. It was okay. So they wait another 15 minutes for the dog to come there, and of course the dog gave a positive indication, and they found in the vehicle several small packages of marijuana, and also some MGMA, which is ecstasy.
Uh-oh.
Anyway.
It used to be medical at one point, I just want to be clear. It was used to treat depression and probably should be brought back for that reason.
That's right. There you go.
Anyway,
Thank you, Michael.
So this is a second interlocutory appeal. That means that this is an appeal that is taking place on the case, and we're getting an opinion before there's actually been a trial. The first interlocutory appeal, these facts were brought to the attention of the trial judge who's out in Berrien County. It's Judge Lasada. And Judge Lasada decided he had in front of him a motion to dismiss and a motion to suppress. The motion to dismiss was based on the preliminary examination transcript. The motion to suppress, he would need to take testimony. Anyway, he heard the arguments of counsel and looked at the transcripts of the preliminary exam testimony. And he said, your motion to suppress is granted, which was kind of like doing the right thing for the wrong reason. And that's why the Court of Appeals originally reversed his decision and sent it back for him to take testimony. And the reason was that if he's going to do a motion to suppress, he has to take testimony in front of him. He can't just rely on the district court's preliminary examination testimony unless they stipulate to that, which they didn't do that. So when you have a small mistake like that, if it's a defendant who's been convicted wrongfully, they call it harmless error, let him sit. But when the prosecution's case got dismissed like this, well, they have to have it perfect. So the judge did the right thing for the wrong reason. They sent it back to him again. So this time, when he hears the testimony of the officer involved, he decided that it wasn't a prolonged traffic stop. This all centers on the United States Supreme Court case, U.S. versus Rodriguez, which says an officer cannot prolong a traffic stop for
It's Rodriguez, like Camorn, like
Yeah.
Rodriguez. Think you messed that up? Rodriguez.
Cormorn.
Correct.
Cormorn.
That's what I'm saying. I'm glad you're laughing.
Comorn.
Anyway,
Whatever, just get it right.
That's one of my favorites.
Corman.
Corman.
Okay.
Whatever. Get it.
So, anyway, the problem with this case was making him wait 15 minutes for the dog stop. That's a violation of Stop that. Rodriguez,
Come on, Alan.
which says they cannot prolong a traffic stop for a dog. So, that's the second time around, though. The judge decided, well, I don't think it was a prolonged traffic stop because the driver was nervous, the passenger was a little nervous. The passenger didn't even know the driver. They just met like 4 hours beforehand. And also the fact that he took a mile and a half to pull over for the stop. And he gave all these reasons. And so the second time around, the judge says, no, I'm denying your motion to dismiss. Well, so on this appeal, this time by the defendant going up there, the Court of Appeals again disagrees with the trial judge and says, we do agree this was an extended traffic stop, making him wait 15 minutes after the traffic stop was done, where there's no new facts to justify the longer detention. That's wrong. And so we're reversing the trial court judge, and then they're dismissing the case. What's really amazing about this case, folks, is that Peter O'Connell is one of the judges on this panel. And Peter O'Connell has said the most asinine things about the medical marijuana law, going back to the People versus Redden case, 2009, his terrible concurring opinion. But all throughout the years, where there's a chance for him to say something negative on medical marijuana, he dissented on the Latz case, for example, which was the improper transport case. And I could go on and on about this guy that I thought that maybe he should be disqualified from all medical marijuana cases just because he's so negative. And here he did the right thing. It just shocked the hell out of me. Anyway. He's
It's called keeping faith, Alan. Every now and then,
they
scroll
Just like
finds an
Billy
acorn
Joel
or something.
said. That's right. I have good news. Jamie Lowell is in the queue.
all right. We can. I've got 3 more cases, but we can put it off till later.
We're going to put it off until
We'll
later.
put Jamie on, and then I'll do my other 3
So-
cases.
Well, what a
later.
wonderful rendition so far, I must say.
Well, thank you
Yes.
very much. And that, like I said, this appellate update is sponsored by Camorn Law. Remember, for all your medical marijuana problems, Corman. Camorn.
By the way, we will be
800-656-3557.
If we get to the other 3 stories, cases, we are sponsoring those as well, I think. And by
Yes,
then
yes,
we
yes.
figure out how to pronounce that name.
Rodriguez.
Without further ado, let's get on to and welcome back into the planet spaceship here, of Planet Green, which is Jamie Lowell, if I understand he's joining us.
Jamie,
Hello.
hold on.
He's not on.
I think, why don't you guys fill the air for a minute? I think we're having a
I can do another case.
technical
Making fun of, but
Do me do another case. Go ahead.
I went to
technical
go
issue
friend
here.
Jamie on Facebook the other day, and he's maxed out. He is maxed out.
There's a waiting
People love him.
list.
They do.
Jamie, are you there?
That may go without saying.
I am here.
Oh, Jamie Lowell.
Welcome, Jamie Lowell. You cannot be his friend on Facebook because he
Yeah.
has too many.
Too many
Lowell.
friends.
Hello. Yeah. Too busy playing on social media. What's happening?
Well,
Am I gone?
so far
Not recording.
so far the show tonight has been a very, very loosely held together. Jamie, I mean, you would not be happy.
Jamie
at
would
all.
love it. Jamie would love this.
Jamie likes this form.
Yeah,
Thrives on chaos.
it's been chaotic but fun.
Alan's discussion of that last case was quite interesting.
Thank you.
That was entertaining.
I'm glad you liked it.
So far, so good, as far as I know.
Just the
That's
tiniest
what I've heard.
bit of structure to the show. Just a little bit.
And if there
Right
was
there.
any, Chad can always interrupt and
A
take us
sprinkle.
off structure. But Jamie's now on the phone. What is
Hey, sometimes they work like that.
Yep.
Jamie, what's going on? I know you've been very active and you're running around and you're promoting a number of different things, and there's
Yeah.
things that people probably should be thinking about participating in for those that want to help the cause of cannabis reform and medical cannabis's evolution in Michigan. Why don't you enlighten us as to some of those things and what you've been up to?
Yeah, I mean, this last year, since last summer probably, or maybe even late spring, it seems like I have been going around to many political clubs, usually Democrat clubs, and just talking about legalization and the emerging industry and other things like that. And Friday night we were in Benzie County talking about this with Reverend Steve. They had chili and we watched Reefer Madness, which is one of the more fun visits to one of these clubs. And last night I was in Canton for a club. I met Sanjay Gupta's brother, Sunil Gupta, who's actually running against Dan Haberman for the 11th district congressional seat.
Uh-oh.
That was pretty cool. He's really interested, asked a lot of great questions, very hip to what's going on. Might be a good guest for this show. And I think Tuesday night I'll be in the Plymouth Democrat Club, and Michael will also be there and be kind of a main attraction for getting people updated on the cannabis side of things.
Yes, we're
And then in
we're
March
excited about that.
20
Tell people
Yep,
more.
and then March 20.
Go ahead, sir.
Sorry, go ahead.
Finish.
March 23rd, up in Bay City, Michael and Dana will be at our place, meaning MMLE and Happy Life in Bay City, for a networking meeting. So a lot of stuff coming up, and
Skipped
looking
over
forward to it. But yeah,
a really important event on the 14th.
Which is next Wednesday.
oh yeah,
First
I
of all,
was.
Tuesday is the.
No question. I wasn't intending to get all events, and I was just talking about these political club meetings. Basically, I guess the networking meeting was a little bit off, but
All right. So we've got next
no
Tuesday.
question about it. That's been very, very, very important because anybody who hasn't signed up yet has a last time to final effort to get done and be prepared to help out at the convention. So that's a very, very important event.
The Get Out the Vote.
You're talking about the event.
Yep.
Chad has actually volunteered to be a greeter at the convention. So that's going to work really well for the Dana Nessel.
The Get Out the
campaign.
Vote event, March 14th
Where is that?
in Howell at the Moe's Barber thingy
Moe's
Barbershop.
Shop
Yep.
and Grill.
and grill.
They have great food there.
I think that's.
We will be providing the
muted.
food. Cash bar.
Is this mic on?
Razor Ray on hand.
Yeah.
Will be playing. So that's a reason to come
Razor
out
Ray.
in and of itself.
Awesome.
Is, Razor Ray playing.
That's the one
That-
where
He's
That
outstanding.
sounds like a great night.
And,
That's the one.
the one in
when we did the
Howell.
Howell.
the one in Howell, the Get Out the Vote event at downtown Howell. We're trying to get a contingent of Livingston voters signed up, registered with the Democratic Party,
bus.
and on a bus to the convention, April 15th.
and when
Sponsored by the
And we
Putting
did the,
Patients First PAC.
And what we're
Those
intending on
guys,
doing,
the,
is people that are showing up, be prepared to meet and greet the candidate, understand the reasons why you should be getting out and voting, and an opportunity to sign up with the Democratic Party for the sole purpose of being transported from one of the ride share spots in Livingston County. They got a lot of them out there. I always meet at a place out there. D19 comes to mind.
Is D19
Spencer
is
Road.
D19 where you're picking people up?
Spencer Road sounds like it.
D19,
And people can be
exit.
getting onto a bus that we will be, that the Putting Patients First PAC Super PAC will be paying for to drive people down in what can only be described as a fun bus,
luxury bus.
participating in the democratic process and actually going to the convention. And
Will patients be permitted to medicate on this bus?
It depends if what kind of filtration system that Chad will be able to whip together. We might need to get Tommy in on the
We
project.
did discuss this. There's going to be several magic buses around the state.
So when we were at the fundraiser
So
at
yeah,
the
we're
Home
trying
of
to put this all
Medicine,
together, so it's really.
two people are trying
Hold
to
on.
say time. Is his mic on, by the way?
Yes,
You
his
gotta
mic
get
was
closer.
on.
You gotta
But
get
Jamie,
closer.
go ahead.
hello.
Yes, Jamie, go.
Jamie,
please.
go.
Yeah,
ahead.
what I was going to say that when we were at the fundraiser for Dana at the Home of Medicine not too long ago, their group talked about the need to do stuff in Livingston County and to get an extra push there. So all of this is perfect. It gives people an opportunity to still get in before the deadline and to kind of hit the area where they were hoping that they'd get some extra help. So
That's good.
Our event, the Get Out and Vote, is on Wednesday. Wait, hold on. We were talking Wednesday. What day is it? The 15th, 14th.
14th.
Right. So there'll be a full day to the last day to register, and as I said, you can make arrangements to actually get a ride down to the convention via the Putting Patients First through the NSO campaign.
Yep.
And if Chad comes through with the filter, you'll be able to medicate on the
Tuesday
box.
night,